Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here on the Bear in Mind channel. And today, Naughty Dog, apparently in crisis. We'll get into that a little bit. Trump's peace deal may have gotten blowed up, literally. Don Lemon is a bitch. And we get into the Hasan, Diddy Bin Laden, Piker issues with the one and only Sir Andrew Esquire over at Legal Mindset. And then a couple of little fun things if we have some time. Just one of them, just because I miss Brittany Murphy. I miss seeing that adorable face. I hate that she's dead. Her and Heath Ledger both. But let's get into it.
If the rumors are to be believed, Sony is absolutely furious with Naughty Dog over how long it's taking them to develop games. The cost of these experiences is probably sky freaking high, and now apparently they are facing a massive amount of internal pressure from Sony over their slow game productions.
Not only slow game productions, but games produced as if they were in fact slow themselves. Which is why they've got a bad case of sequelitis. You know how Valve has a very difficult time counting to 3? Well, Naughty Dog spells 2 with 2 O's. We'll just say that.
A few different things to show off, but before I
just
get into
one O
the
even.
topic, if you enjoy the content,
They're retarded. I'm trying to
check
say
out the links in the
retarded.
description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Naughty Dog is a studio that has had a lot of
And not just Naughty Dog, but PlayStation in general, but Naughty Dog specifically because of Druckmann.
problems over the past couple of years. Their last big release, The Last of Us Part 2, faced a large amount of backlash, and if they were to release A Last of Us Part 3, yes, I do think that it would sell a few copies, but I definitely don't think it would sell as many as Part 2. The reason 2 sold so much was because people loved Part 1. People were big fans of this, and they thought, oh my gosh, there's so much potential here. They've created a hit. Same thing happened with Ghost of Tsushima. First game came out, people absolutely loved it, and then Yote had sold a couple million copies because people expected it to be that high quality.
And those 2 million were a mixture of normies who really enjoyed the first game and a very, very small percentage of the kind of people who were pushing Ghost of Yote to be Yote instead of Tsushima 2, who actually puts their money where their mouth is. Look, I got all kinds of respect for people who want to make games that they like to play, that people like to play. But it has to have mass appeal, or you're not going to make mass money. No mas. Anyway.
Storytelling and just that level of passion was going to be put into it, and that didn't really happen. And so if they came out with a Ghost Part 3 or a Last of Us Part 3, would be some massive problems with those sales-wise. Though, Naughty Dog is working now on Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, a game that has already faced backlash because the lead actress is a massive activist, and Neil Druckmann has gone on and on and on over the years about toxic gamers. And so those two things alone definitely make people take a step back and say, well, I'm going to wait to hear more about this before I get excited or decide if I want.
Are there toxic gamers? 100%. Most of them push this kind of bullshit at Naughty Dog. There's two sides of toxicity. Okay, it's a two-sided coin. On the one hand, you have online trolls who will say anything to get a rise out of people. And on the other side is people who are too retarded to use the mute buttons. Okay, because if we tell them about the mute buttons, then we can't make monies.
Want to monetarily support them going forward. And Intergalactic, we've only seen a very tiny bit of it, but it doesn't really sound all that unique. It just sort of sounds like another generic space game. I guess we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But a couple of months ago, we had heard that apparently Naughty Dog developers were hit with mandatory overtime to finish an internal demo for Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. So, of course, they are still years and years and years and years and years away from actually releasing this if they're not even done like internal demos. They announced this way too early. And so that looked pretty bad because Sony is sick of the shit. Sony is sick of putting hundreds of millions of dollars into games that are coming out and that are failing. They wasted $3.6 billion on Bungie. Destiny 2 is now going to be dead, and Marathon has flopped. You have them wasting $500 million on Firewalk Studios and Concord. They are...
And this is really sad because I wanted this. I love a good sci-fi, like American style RPG, or even just a great story based American style game. I love these things. Even an American style of gameplay with even some kind of fantastical anime or comic booky sci-fi twist. I mean, I would even love to play a fucking Firefly game. And honestly, this is what most of my RPG characters end up looking like. A bald-ass, vaguely Asian bitch. Like, that's literally... I don't give a fuck. I don't like this girl's face, though. Mostly because it screams of a college graduate white woman.
Trying, it seems, to give Naughty Dog a little bit of money,
You know,
and
one of
also
those
a little bit of time.
rockin' suburbs.
But they're... We'll just call it, for argument's sake, generosity, right? Can only go so far because at the end of the day, they are still a company. The reason why I think that Bungie, for example, was given more time to potentially have Marathon grow is because they have a longer leash, seeing as they've been around for multiple decades, whereas Firewalk hadn't been. They had no track record, and so they shut down Concord after, 12 days because it was a flop, and they said, yeah, there's no possible way that we're going to keep dumping money into this and giving them the chance. And Naughty Dog's the same way. I think that Naughty Dog has a little bit of a leash, but it can only go so far before it ends
Naughty
up
Dog's got a leash.
snapping. So we
Love the
now
dog
have
puns. Very
these
well done.
rumors circulating. They are coming from Jason Schreier, of course, take it with a grain of salt, saying that
Is
they are
Schreier still a
facing
thing?
a massive amount of internal pressure over slow game production. The comments on Sony reportedly being upset with Naughty Dog game production / releases this gen and the big budget for Intergalactic. And yeah, if the budget is already big, who knows what it's going to be by the time this game actually comes out. So all of this stems from a thread Jason Schreier had put up on Blue Sky talking about Bungie's planned significant layoffs. He had commented a lot of people have wondered why Bungie didn't immediately start working on Destiny 3 after the final shape 2 years ago, and it just boils down to how much money it would take. Somebody commented, company that has no issue letting Naughty Dog spend 5+ years and $300 million on a single-player title, now concerned about spending money on a new MMO shooter with a built-in fan base just fantastic. And he commented, oh, they definitely have an issue with that. And I think anybody with half a brain would know that they don't want to spend $300 million on a game that's going to take probably a decade to develop. They want quicker releases than this. But we also see that there are problems.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Shit like this pisses me off. Sean Strickland. Memorial Day is a psyop. Hey, good morning, Yanuka. Some crooked whore of a politician standing over a gravestone, waving a flag, thanking Americans for dying because of lies. The intelligence community said Iraq has WMDs. Thousands of lives, trillions of dollars. Yeah, but at the same time, fuck you, Sean Strickland. Okay? We all know what we signed up for. Okay? We all know. They point in a direction. They say, for America. And that's it. That's it. We all know what we signed up for. Okay? War is young men dying and old men talking. Don't worry about the politics. It's a decent line. It's a bit crass, But there you have it. Okay, I mean, how many guys who have been in the service have been there, and at most you've gotten a hey, thanks for playing, um, medal, and then you get up there and you see that like your platoon sergeant who sat on his ass the whole time got what's it, a bronze star that the leadership normally gets at a certain level. I mean, come on. And yes, there are good leaders. There are all kinds of good leaders. None of them were ever directly attached to me. I had shitty young captains who bit off more than they could chew, but they could fly. I had a bunch of crotchety old fucks as sergeants, and then I looked over into the other, we'll say company or troop, whatever, and I'm just like, oh man, I wish I was over there. Man, their guys are actually like good and they're learning shit. And it seems like their leadership actually gives a shit about them. Like, I completely understand not liking the system, but don't shit on a day where we remember those, in your opinion, what was it? Men who died because of lies. Okay? They still died. And they should be remembered. And again, it's not just for those who fell over there, it's for those who couldn't hang. Okay, for those who couldn't live with how things were when they got back, or because of what they saw down there, they couldn't function in normal society. One of 100,000 reasons, okay? But those are the main two. I don't know, it frustrates me to no end. Look, don't shit on the soldiers, okay? If anything, shit on the leadership of those soldiers and shit on the politicians that send them where they're going. Okay, that's it. Back to Vera.
What's happening at these studios, right? They are hiring activists. They are not hiring talented, passionate developers who actually know what they're doing. And so when their backs are against the wall and they're backed into a corner and they're told you have to get things done, and well, we hear that there's things like mandatory overtime happening at the studio.
Me personally, I'm cool with a certain amount of mandatory overtime, so long as you pay me for it, okay? And so long as you don't just cut us loose when you're done. But that's what a lot of these studios do. They'll get a lot of overtime. They won't necessarily pay them for it. It'll be like 20-hour fucking schedules, and then they cut them all loose when they're done, okay? Game developers need some kind of, and I'm not a pro-union guy, because I think all unions are just as corrupt, if not more so, than most of the politicians who they back. However, the unions can be good in their initial startup because they take care of things like this, and instead of overseeing things like this, then they just kind of start taking your fees and fucking you over.
It ends up with Sony probably just saying, okay, we saw what we need to see, keep on going, but then they ask for more money. They get to the end of that 5 years, and then they're like, oh, we need a little bit more time, we need a little bit more time, we need a little bit more time, and then you had 10 years. That's what happened with Veilguard. Throughout the first few years of development, they had a plan. Then EA said, no, you actually have to change your plan. It needs to be live service. They started shifting it around, and then a couple of years into sort of that development period, they were told, no, you actually need to go back to your original idea. But they also didn't have talented developers who were working on that game. They did like the worst job possible.
Yeah,
it's not even like the story or the aesthetic made a lot of sense or were good. The characters didn't resonate with gamers. Nobody really liked that experience, and that's why it was dead on arrival. And Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is their future. It is what Naughty Dog has right now. We haven't heard anything about A Last of Us Part 3, except for rumors that they want to work on that next. Okay. We've heard maybe some whisperings, I suppose we'll call it, because they're not full-blown reports, that they want to revive some of their past franchises and series, but ultimately they need to get Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet done first. All of the money that they are getting is going into this game. And maybe they shouldn't hire very controversial actresses like Tati Gabrielle, who are going to take to their social medias and post memes owning the chuds that say, oh, it's woke, it's so DEI-licious, right? And stir up controversy. Maybe they shouldn't hire an actress who is an activist and goes into interviews and talks about how toxic the industry is. Maybe someone like Neil Cuckman should not attack his potential customers on social media, and people would be like, yeah, I am going to support you going forward. But I think anything that they put out now is going to be heavily scrutinized, and really, they deserve it. Scrolling through the comments really quickly before we wrap up this video, people are saying things like, I don't like the sound of that, makes it seem like they don't really have confidence in the upcoming title, and that is definitely true. So what, Intergalactic is probably going to sell 15 to 20 million copies, Naughty Dog will be fine, and we have absolutely no idea that this is going to happen. This could be a game that, yes, sells pretty well because of Naughty Dog's name alone, or it could massively underperform when it finally releases, because this might just not be an experience that people are looking for at that point in time. You mean Sony has an issue with Naughty Dog production when they had them work on The Last of Us live service for how long before canning it? They need to break off from Sony. That's definitely not going to happen. Was an easy source of money would be continue posting on PC. And yeah, that also is going to potentially be a problem for them because they're not launching on as many platforms as possible, which should equal as much money being made up front as possible. So yeah, this is not looking particularly good for Naughty Dog right now. They are facing internal pressure, their game budgets are ballooning, production lengths are extremely long. Months ago, we heard that they were being hit with mandatory overtime to finish demos. Never mind how many more years it's going to take to finish this game up. And yeah, it looks like Sony is sick of the BS. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel.
I mean, I agreed. I usually agree with Vera. She does good work here. She mostly just reads a few articles and gives her opinions, and I can get behind that shit. And then you have people like this. Like, at first I thought, oh, good. They're shoveling all the things off these graded blocks here, but no. These fuckers are picking up cement blocks to do mass destruction while their dipshit friends are recording it, which doesn't really matter because even though they're recording it, like, everyone knows this is happening, and those that don't are retarded. But look at this. These people are cowards. If you ever caught one of them solo, one-on-one, they would crumble because these are not grown-ups. These are children LARPing, okay? There's nothing worse than a fair weather activist.
You ever had one of those friends that no matter where they went, they were always getting in a fight, always managed to figure out how to throw a haymaker and pop off, and you just needed them to calm down because this is a special and important event, and everybody needs to have a nice, easy night. So no fighting. It's the way that we feel right now about Iran and Israel and America and the tenuous situation that may lead to an everlasting peace, may lead to the greatest peace deal in the history of the world.
I hope so.
Actually, we'll cover that in just a second. Or it may descend into further madness and $200 a barrel for oil sometimes, and a global recession. So, you know, it's a touchy area of the world, and that area just got touched, meaning bombed to smithereens. Karg Island here, the oil depot of all of Iran, it was set ablaze tonight as the United States began bombing Iran again after they blew out of the sky a number of MQ-9 Reaper drones. The U.S. took out some of their boats that were laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. not what you want to see here. Ooh,
Yeah.
let's see. The Iranian forces launched.
But again, if Iran was laying more mines, they're setting up, and they're using the ceasefire or peace deal or whatever as a smokescreen, just so they can get reset up for the next little skirmish.
Cruise missiles at drones and U.S. destroyers in the Strait of Hormuz. American aircraft struck 2 vessels earlier today, killing a number of Revolutionary Guard members. The IRGC, the Iranian government's navy, is now hitting back. Naval forces are targeting American destroyers in the Strait of Hormuz. Fires are simultaneously burning on Karg Island, Iran's primary oil export terminal. And multiple American drones were shot down roughly an hour ago. They had been hunting launch sites for Iranian missiles targeting warships, and there are conflicting reports of Israel also participating in these strikes. So, just like one more, just one more for the boys, right? Before our grand peace negotiations, just one more, just for old time's sake. It's gracious. U.S. launched what officials describe as a narrow targeting self-defense strikes inside of Iran on Monday night, escalating tensions in the regions as diplomats.
And you see a bunch of dipshits on X pointing out how far we are from Iran geographically and being like, how's this self-defense? You're not a serious person. I mean, the whole point of this war in general was for not just self-defense of us, but self-defense of the world, the Strait. And I don't know how people are still behind them when they flailed and threw little rockets and hit literally every single country within arm's reach.
That's fight for peace. According to Central Command, U.S. forces targeted missile launch sites in southern Iran and vessels that were attempting to lay naval mines in strategic waterways used by military commercial ships. U.S. forces conducted the strikes in southern Iran today to protect our troops, CENTCOM said. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during ongoing ceasefire. Top Iranian officials were in Doha on Monday. The imminent peace deal is about to happen. The fragile hope of an accord in the recent days was dealt a fresh blow when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to crush Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. President Trump made demands for a broader peace deal across the Middle East. Oh boy. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the official CENTCOM spokesperson explaining. Tim Hawkins says U.S. forces conducted self-defense strikes in Iran today to protect our troops. Target included...
No, exactly. Why did America nuke Japan in World War II? 1, a display of power. 2, to stop them so we didn't have to kill both... I mean, that many Japanese people would have died on the onslaught if we had raided their beaches. 1. 2, they saved American lives by not doing it. But 3, to make sure another fucking Pearl Harbor didn't happen again. Like, do I agree with the nukes? No. It should have been, at the very least, regular bombs directly on the facilities that they were going for, because Nagasaki and Hiroshima had, I think, munitions facilities or something provided for the war effort. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's what it was. The long-term effects of the nuclear warheads, I don't like to think about it. But ever since then, the Japanese have been some of the most prosperous people in the world. And they've brought us a lot of our favorite entertainment. Anime, manga, video games, technology. I mean, come on. Not saying it's because of the nukes. I'm just saying they at least don't seem to be too sore about it.
Sites. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ceasefire, confirming that the ceasefire is still on. Explosions rock Iran. U.S. Central Command just confirmed that U.S. forces did, in fact, strike Iran. Again, conflicting sources say that Israel was part of these joint strikes. We'll see how that rolls out. But anyway, this is what everybody is saying. More details on the strikes. 2 Iranian boats were caught laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Senior U.S. officials tell
American didn't use. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We didn't have the rocket power to do it back then, so we flew them across on planes. That is correct.
me, the U.S. eliminated these vessels. They killed 3 Iranians while doing so. The surface-to-air missile site in Bandar Abbas was targeted by U.S. warplanes. These were defensive strikes. They do not include. This does not indicate the ceasefire is over. Okay. Yep. All right.
Yeah. This
great.
non-ceasing
They're still bombing each
of the
other, but
fire.
there's still a ceasefire. Don't you worry about it. Like the couple right before they're about to get divorced, lobbing every bomb they possibly can. Don't worry, we're still married. Explosions were heard in Iran's Bandar Abbas coastal area near the Strait of Hormuz. Cause is unknown. Big flames and videos of big fire burning, but it's under control, according to Iranian news sites.
Okay, nothing to see here.
Mayor's news agency
I don't know.
said the situation is under control. Voice, no cause for concern. Explosions were heard across the city. The city is in flames. There are some parts of the city in flames. But anyway,
like San Francisco.
Like they were using restraint.
Wrong kind of flames. I apologize.
So there you go. See some of the smoke rising. Iran is definitely getting attacked tonight. All right, buckle up. People are saying Iran was struck right here.
Abbas. That's home to a key Iranian naval and air base along the strait. Iranian state media also reporting explosions in other cities as well. The attacks coming as intense discussions are underway tonight to end the war in Iran, but a deal is not in place. Iran's top security official declaring tonight, quote, there will be no retreat.
Cool. Yikes. CNN is retreating, though, with the quality of their anchors. Yikes. Buzz, your girlfriend. A third U.S. aerial refueling tanker is now airborne. There is a ton of aerial refueling and military buildup around Iran right now. It's been happening for days, actually, if you've been paying attention. Large fires on Iran's Karg Island. That's a big one right there. And, of course, the Domino Pizza Tracker is spiking at 147% normal rates of pizzas being delivered to the Pentagon. President Trump at this exact hour didn't say anything about the bombing of Iran, but he did say that the enriched uranium will be immediately turned over to the United States, be brought home or destroyed, preferably in conjunction with the Islamic Republic of Iran, destroyed in place or at an acceptable location, the Atomic Energy Commission or equivalent being witness to the event. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Real quick. First of all, this person's opinion is invalidated because Canadian. AI slop VTuber that can't even make their own model or hire anyone to do it is in Forza Horizon 6. This needs to be erased, and then they added Forza Horizon directly and Leaflet, because this is Leaflet's VTuber avatar. Leaflet said, I'll be sure to tell all artists I hired that they're not people. Also, all of the art on that car is handmade. Like, this very much looks real, with maybe the exception being that, but I don't know anything about any kind of window art. But I love this kind of shit. Retard Canadian, and then based Leaflet here. Leaflet's great. Check them out. And then check them out anytime they're on side scrollers as well. Continuing.
This is Donald Trump effectively announcing the nuclear end of the peace deal. And we want that peace deal to materialize. We'll see what happens this week. This is what Karg Island looks like. Apparently, there are major fires on the island. Not good, obviously. We want peace. Senior U.S. official tells Fox the ceasefire still stands. Even though everybody's bombing each other into smithereens, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. We're just slapping each other.
At least 3 people were killed. U.S. attacks against Iranian boats. Iran war back on, boys. Okay. I don't want this to happen. I obviously want ceasefires over, says some random accounts, but Iranian sources announced the downing of 3 Reaper drones Israel declares full war on Hezbollah. Yeah, some accounts begging for the war to pop off and come back online. I say no. I say what Donald Trump needs to be doing is focusing on America and our future. The S&P 500 futures are extremely and exceedingly strong. The markets always tend to know these things. Meanwhile, oil has absolutely collapsed down right here to $85 a barrel. Woo. $65 a barrel. Gas gets us $2 a gallon. Kind of the range there. If oil goes down another 20 bucks, you're talking $2 a gallon of gas in our nation. Please let that be the case. Now, Iran and America were getting along very nicely. Iran was saying, we don't want a nuclear program. We're not going to make a bomb. President Trump was releasing frozen funds in Qatar. Iranian officials were in Qatar meeting with the Americans effectively. Both sides had agreed to the outline and architecture of a peace deal. Trump was saying that it's 95% done. We are set. The agreement has been largely negotiated, subject to finalization. President Trump is asking for Iran to join the Abraham Accords along with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The write-ups about this peace negotiation seem very, very strong.
And we saw most of that yesterday. Real quick, takes like this from dipshits like Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit are dumb. If Hasan gets arrested, it's just a matter of time until they start doing the same thing to conservatives. That's why I don't want Hasan to go to jail. Yes, if conservatives break the law, this is not for him being a... Let's just listen to this.
Get some information. Well, he's not the target of our investigation. Step 1, get this subpoena. Read the subpoena. Step 2, hire a lawyer that specializes in OFAC. Step 3, optional, but I highly suggest you do it just based on what I think the government's going to bring you in for. Hire a criminal defense lawyer that specializes in espionage. Pay for the consult. Maybe retain him as a lawyer. Maybe he can be like, co-counsel for your OFAC lawyer. You and those two lawyers can kind of figure it out and see, who kind of wants to take lead. I predict your OFAC attorney is going to be the main guy that comes with you probably when you testify, right? If they let a lawyer in, then if anything, God forbid for you, if anything happens and goes to criminal, you already got a lawyer on standby. So this is the best way to kind of set yourself up to deal with whatever comes your way. But more than likely, when he goes in to testify for the subpoena, his lawyer's probably going to tell him, yeah, dude, don't just take the fifth. One other thing, if he hires a good lawyer, a good savvy lawyer can talk to the lawyer that's going to run the hearing and say, look, bro, because the lawyers, they have this kind of informal relationship. He can tell him, look, why are you questioning my client? Is he the subject of a criminal investigation, federal?
Yes.
Is he like a target? Or are you guys just trying to kind of get some information? Well, he's not the target of our investigation. Perfect. Let me cut you a deal. This is what a good attorney will say. Let me cut you a deal. You promise not to charge my client. We do this under a 5K. He'll tell you guys everything that you guys want. But you give us a 5K, and he'll go in there and answer all your questions. He won't take the fifth. But I need to have a Castigar letter in place so that y'all don't come back and charge him. That's the winning strategy for Hasan at this point. Because if he gets a 5K from the government, as long as he doesn't lie, he's safe. But if he lies in his testimony, let's say he says some shit like, they ask him, did you meet with XYZ Cuban official? Right? And he says, no. But then they find out that he did meet with that official. A lie like that will throw out everything that he said during the testimony, and now he's fair game for being prosecuted. So that's the key. He's got to be 100% honest to get the immunity. But if he has immunity, then he can say shit that would even incriminate him. I see that's a potential strategy his lawyer can use. It's obviously too early to tell because I don't have all the facts, but that's my analysis from what we know so far. Hasan owes me a fucking thank you after that. Now, some of you guys might be saying, Myron, why are you saying this? Why are you helping Hasan? Let me be clear. I don't like Hasan. He doesn't like me. He's called me a Nazi, Holocaust denier.
He's both of those things. Let's be real. He is both of those things. But then again, so's Hasan. So I'm surprised they're not besties.
Probably played a role in getting me banned from Twitch like a fucking snowflake that he is. But though I dislike Hasan and we are completely opposed politically, right, on everything except for pretty much Israel and Gaza, we agree on that. Even though we disagree, I understand that if he gets prosecuted for basically his political views, unless they have some really strong evidence he's an actual spy, which I actually kind of doubt. Bro's not smart enough to be a spy, let's be honest. He's just like a libtard lefty that wants socialism for all.
That is
living
true.
in a multi-million-dollar house. The reason why I'm giving him this sauce is because I understand that if Hasan gets arrested, none of us are safe that are political commentators. I have the
No, that's not the case. Look, I 100% agree. If that were the case, if he were just getting arrested or subpoenaed, not even arrested yet, subpoenaed for his political commentary, for what he says on a political level, then I would completely back what Myron's doing here. But Myron, you know how he pointed out that Hasan is just a retard liberal, blah, 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 blah. Myron is what I like to call a retard horseshoe right, okay? He's a right-wing retard. Quote unquote. Because that's not what's happening here. He's being subpoenaed the same reason that Code Pink is being subpoenaed for the Cuba thing, for going to Cuba, crossing the whatever the blockade or whatever the terminology is, to where you're not allowed to give aid to a country because of X and Y reason as put forth by which X and Y government. That's literally what this is. This has nothing to do with his political opinion. His political opinion sucks, but your political opinion, no matter if you're on the left or the right, unless you're calling for the death of people, Hasan, which he is doing, then you shouldn't be arrested. Literally anything, they could get Hasan for a number of things legally, and that would be fine. Because if you're doing that on the left or the right, you should go to jail. Okay? I don't care if you're giving aid to Israel. I don't care if you're giving aid to Palestine. I don't care if you're giving aid to Cuba. I don't care if you're giving aid to Ukraine. I don't care who you're giving aid to. Okay? If there's a blockade in place, you are subject to those people who are putting up the blockade in the first place, or the sanctions. If you're going against sanctions, okay, you are subject to the government, the governing force, putting those sanctions in place. Period. I don't care. Left, right, center, fucking whoever. Myron Gaines is a retard. Okay, if you listen to either of these two people and you take them seriously, then you shouldn't be listening to me. You should be somewhere coloring. I do like coloring, though.
Seems like a great, broad, sweeping peace plan. Obviously, there has been major military buildup, so both sides don't exactly trust each other. But it seems like we were headed in a very positive.
Enough of this guy. Let's move on to the next one.
His career
Don Lemon's a
is
retard.
not going how the way he thought it was going to be.
I cannot understand, and maybe you can explain it to me, how anyone could be black and be a MAGA supporter right now with what has happened.
I cannot understand how anybody can be a certain ethnicity and not be owned by the political party.
How
apparently
dare
owns me.
you
With what
be black and not think
me.
like me?
But what has happened with voting rights in this country and what they're doing, I don't.
What law says they can't vote? Is there, again, the soft bigotry of low expectations? They want voter ID and they're going after black people. And it's like, what? How'd you correlate those two unless you have a bigotry of saying they are less than?
I don't get it. I don't know. And some people are defending it, even black MAGA, black folks, black lawmakers. Look, it's similar.
Because they're not retards.
To the log cabin Republicans,
Wait, what are log cabin Republicans? You know what that is?
No,
It's an autofill. Log cabin kits and log cabin syrup, then log cabin Republicans. They are the largest organization representing LGBT conservatives and allies. Oh yeah, there's a huge. What they didn't want to tell you in the media is when Donald Trump was running for president, both the first term and the second term, there were huge gays for Trump movements in Los Angeles area. And it's because
which makes a lot
of them
more
don't fall for
sense
the thing
than
of,
gays for
they're gonna come
Palestine.
after us and it's gonna be they're gonna throw us in prison and outlaw us and get rid of
Palestines.
marriage. It's like, do you guys not know that President Donald Trump was the first president ever to come into office being for gay marriage?
Yeah.
Obama had to become for gay marriage after becoming in office. So it's like,
That's 100% true.
no, it's like all of because he's been in office forever, and it's like no, because
No, and Biden, he was the first Democrat to come into office, at least into the presidential office, being for gay marriage. But Trump did it first. Remember, Trump was president before Biden, and he was the first president to come into office being pro-gay marriage.
Donald Trump was the first.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
like- but the idea is-
yeah.
Donald Trump is a 1990s Democrat, but they think, because the word D is next to the name, they must own all the minorities. It's like the fear mongering is all they have.
See how Republicans, how gay Republicans, or gay people can be part of a party that doesn't even believe that they should exist, that doesn't believe that.
Look, they, and again, This comes back to the question where my gay friends would ask me, because I was a straight dude who was raised in the Bible Belt, is homosexuality a sin? And I'm like, well, everything that's fun and interesting is sinful. So yes, it is. However, why are you asking me? I'm not particularly religious. What are we talking about? Like, and I'm still not. Like, I'm not particularly religious. So if you ask me a question based off my religious background, then I'm going to answer based off said religious background. But if you answer me like, do I think it's wrong, or do I think that you shouldn't exist? Those are two very different answers. It's okay for you to be gay, as far as I'm concerned, okay? But it's not okay that that's literally the only thing that you think is important about you.
That they are, I guess.
And stop telling me to drive forward, okay? I'm going to drive straight ahead, okay? Straight. I'm going straight. Straight. Deal with it.
Deserving of the rights of every American.
Again, fearmonger.
Who said that? No, I don't know. I've never ever said that.
But I do know people that believe this. They hear it and it's like, oh, I don't know how MAGA conservatives are against us, but I know they're against us. It's like, yeah, what rights did they lose in the first administration? What rights have they lost
None.
during the second administration? If you don't know what they are, then you're just believing these boogeyman stories. And here they are perpetuating it, saying, hey, I don't understand how anybody would not be under the veil of our propaganda, but let's keep on moving that way. That's why you're not on CNN anymore. That's why you're on this bootleg, dusty-ass Don Lemon Show podcast. That's why you look like a TikToker right now, interviewing people, showing them Sonic the Hedgehog memes, and it's like, yeah, you used to be the face of CNN, and now you look like you're I get more views than you, you idiot. Why do you think nobody's buying what you say anymore? It's regarded.
I don't get that, and I just don't understand how MAGA. There are black MAGA. Look, there's black MAGA. I don't know if you remember during, I think it was 24 election or whatever.
How dare they want lower costs of living? How dare they want strong border laws, and they want people that come over here illegally to be sent and be arrested when they commit crimes? How dare they want the law to be enforced and for me not to be taxed out the ass so I can pay for more immigrants to live in the Pakistani hotel in New York City? How dare they
I've never seen Decoy amped up like this. I'm kind of digging it.
think for themselves and not just be afraid of their own shadow?
People are talking young, black, and MAGA. So, yeah. Wait.
I got to turn them down just a little bit, though.
I mean, there are words that I just won't say here, but I think it's inappropriate. I will say,
yeah, because it was about to be racist.
Yeah.
It was about to be racist, and he knows it.
Yeah, it totally was, and I'm sure your white husband would get very stern with you.
Naive is another term that I would use for it.
And here's the thing: is one thing that these liberals or these people they hate more than the whites or the people that they can't control just because of the thing. Like I talked about how a long time ago, worked in security. I'm there with one of my employees, big buff black guy, and we're actually working in Inglewood at the time. Walking around this store, and then random black lady sees us, panics. I don't know how she spotted us, or she probably shoplifts all the time, so she knows what the gig is. We're like wearing regular clothes. In her purse, dumps out a bunch of the store's merchandise, goes outside. She's yelling at us. Oh, she's cursing at us and stuff like that. We're just flabbergasted because we weren't watching it. We were just walking around like, that was weird. And then the store gets a phone call, which is from her, and I answer the phone. Now, oddly enough, people say I sound like a black guy over the telephone. I answer the phone. I'm like, oh, thank you for calling the store or whatever. And then she starts yelling at me as if I'm the black guy that worked in the thing. And then she's like, that Asian MF, blah, blah, blah. And she's saying all these racial slurs about Asian guy or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, she's yelling at me. And then all of a sudden she says, but you, it's worse because you're black. Oh, she said a different word that even though I sound like it, I cannot say the word. She's like, it's worse because you're that. You are their slave. Oh, you're their uncle this, blah, blah, blah. You work for the white man. Said all these things to me. And I was like, I can handle
see ya,
the whole,
Yanuka.
like, Asian
We'll see
slur
you,
tone on my
hopefully
eyes
tomorrow,
or
bro.
whatever. Like, she could say all these things, but I was like, yo, I'm hurt. Like, she's saying these things how I belong. Well, she said it's because I'm the house version, and I'm in the house. Just because they allow me in the house doesn't mean
Samuel
I'm
L. Jackson from
She's really
Django.
breaking it down.
Gotcha.
I'm like, her racism towards her own color, because her own color wasn't also shoplifting and being a degenerate to society, was far worse than any racism she could have gone to the white people. They sit there and they do this, and they wonder, how come...
Well, see, it's like me. Like, I try my best. Like, if I ever do something that's kind of like what some people will call ghetto, I'm just like, my bad, that's my trailer roots. Because my family's pretty trailer park, not gonna lie. It's only getting worse as we're getting older, all of us. But I try my best to, for the most, like when I was younger, I tried my best not to act like it. But I don't use it as an excuse. Like, I don't commit crimes. And I don't use where I came from as an excuse to commit crimes. Because it's no excuse. You should always try to do better in life. That being said, I should be doing a lot better, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to start stealing just because I'm in a bad situation or whatever. That's not right.
We don't own these people. We treat them so well.
I never understood too. When it comes to African American, is the point where they try to make you feel bad for trying to make your life better, or not supporting whatever they support, or going against a certain race. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, I'm not African American. I'm African. So every time someone tries to push that ideology towards me, I kind of just like, what are you doing? I'm from a different country. I'm trying to make my life better. It has nothing to do with the other race.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't identify because we have the same shade of color. I identify with, like, makers and takers, law-abiding citizens and non-law-abiding citizens. Oh, thank you for the sub.
Hey, Shapeshifter. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sorry you weren't there for it live, but yeah, I was kind of all over the place. 3-day weekends throw me way off.
Said crabs in a bucket. It's very much that. But also, Bathwater said she ran through her race iceberg for her, and I think it was projection. It was just this whole thing of like, I've heard all these racial comments. They hurt me. Now I'm gonna turn these things that I know hurt me onto you because I know it. Like, it strikes us at a more core level, and I'm like, and you wonder why we don't identify with each other. Like, I remember the first time hired you, kind of brand new, and you were the first arrest we made with me, you, and M. Yeah. And the guy happened to be, he wasn't even like, he was very light-skinned black. Yeah. But then he yelled his racial slurs at me, yelled his racial slurs at my Hispanic employee. Then his racial slurs towards you were far worse because he thought you were Ethiopian for whatever reason.
Yeah. He was trying to make me feel bad for doing my job.
He's way too stout.
I'm doing my job. I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to make my life better. I'm like, yeah, look at this. Yes, look at this. We're brothers. You can't be doing this. I'm like, what are you talking about, man?
Because he thought he owned you. He thought because you guys look.
Well, yeah. Sorry, in the chat. Well, yeah, you pretty much streamed at a time where I was asleep or whatever. It's not like I had too much to say anyway. I mean, yeah, but I always appreciate your input, and I always appreciate Yanuka's input, and it's always just great to see y'all in the chat. But but no, and it's great to have you here today, Shapeshifter.
Look the same. You don't even look the same way. It's like because you guys are categorized in a bubble on a scantron the same way.
Is he gonna get back to?
Don't you realize? Let me steal. It's pure tribalism.
Sorry, it takes him that long to get back to Don
Lemon. Is another term that I would use.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
pick me. Huh? Just call black people pick me.
A pick me. I think they talk about.
Pick me is usually what you use to define a woman who's standing up for a dude. It's a pick me.
Girls like,
yeah.
Oh, she's a pick-me girl. All she's doing is try to, like,
like that's what people call shoe on head.
One, it's like, how dare you say someone's a pick-me by saying, hey, I don't want high crime. I don't think that the Democrats have been a net positive for the black community, and also I don't want my tax dollars when I go to my job to go to someone that got a degree in liberal arts, underwater basket weaving. I don't think my
underwater basket weaving, that's a talent.
Go to be paying off of your degree.
Like, if I was gonna be like a devil advocate, yeah, I would say even if he's gonna make some solid point, he should make some solid points on why his view or his own ideology should be looked at, and not make it a race thing and more of a general population thing. But his specific, maybe because he's just trying to talk to his race.
He's scripting. It's scripting.
Doesn't make any sense. Even if you're trying to specify to this.
Sorry, I'm not trying to skip past.
Why don't the Democrats own all you guys?
Still hate JD Vance.
Wow.
I can't stand.
Yeah, because I would vote against my Bo Center. They're laughing. It's a joke of saying
this person's retarded. These are both retarded people.
I would still hate
like it's funny. All the people who no longer work for the mainstream news sources are the most extreme ones from both sides. Like Tucker's retarded, Megyn Kelly's retarded. These two are retarded. I hate to spoil the surprise, but as soon as it's June, I'm gonna say Happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So, cat lady. So what? Nah, and there's nothing like that. You're not a pick-me. You just believe what you believe, unless you believe that you're a pick-me. In which case, you know what? You could call yourself a pick-me if that's how you roll. That's fine. That's fine.
hate them. And the sad part is,
Yeah,
like,
if
I
I'm
even
taking
on
the
this show
term
talked
back,
about how
yeah, I'm a
Governor
pick me,
Gavin
so
Newsom,
what?
he passed a bill outlawing cat declawing. You know,
What was that?
cat declawing is like some people, if they want a cat, but you see my cat, he's clawing everything up, man. That's just what he does. And I get angry at him, but apparently that's when they're happy. Like they see you and they claw the carpet, or sometimes he comes in the office and he's just like putting his claws and stuff, and apparently that's when he's happy. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's an older cat. I'm gonna give him this enjoyment. Some people don't want that, so they put him through a very, very painful surgery and take out their claws, and now they don't have one of the things that brings them happiness. It's minuscule. It's small, but I like it. And I'm like, you know what? New scam. You're wrong 99% of the time, but you had it dead on. Congratulations. I like it. Thank you, Governor Gavin Newsom, for outlawing cat declawing.
Yeah.
Again, props are props is due. I agree with that. If you want a cat, then get a cat. And make sure your house can't get torn up by your cat being happy. But if you're the kind of person who would get your cat declawed, they'll be sad anyway, so they won't tear up shit. I mean, if that's what they want to call me, go ahead. I stand by what I said. Plus, not too many people acknowledge Men's Health Month, so that's what I'm gonna say. Is it actually Men's Health Month? Like, can you have 2 months? Like, it's not. I thought it was Man Get Your Penis Chopped Off Month. Is it not? Is it not? Is it Man Keep Your Pride Month?
She's sitting there saying, even if they did something that was objectively good for me.
Anyway, this one's not as interesting as I was thinking, so we're going to skip right to Legal Mindset. I thought that last one was going to be a bit more, but it's just them telling personal anecdotes. But Mr. Esquire here, Andrew Esquire of Legal Mindset, never disappoints. Let's get into it.
Now under federal investigation, and this time the penalties can be very serious. We're going to today on the Legal Mindset, we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. Now, Hasan Piker is no stranger to controversy and potentially filming his crimes live.
Kaya, please just just stop.
Now this time it's not for
let's be fair. Most leftists videotape themselves commit crimes. Let's not forget that Asian girl with throat cancer.
Fact is probing into his participation in a March 2026 activist trip to Cuba. He was part of the Nuestra America convoy, which was deemed as a humanitarian aid convoy, but involved many activists, many of which, in fact, advocate for violating U.S. law.
We're here with Morid.
They don't just advocate for it.
Currently studying for free.
Here in Palestine and Cuba, things are all too similar. Both our peoples are living the same thing because of the same enemy. I am ready to be on the battlefield for my people to support them on the front lines.
And the alleged issue says, essentially boils down
to, that's
did
crazy.
he violate official U.S. sanctions
the answer is
in
yes.
his trip to Cuba? Now, we're going to get into those very specific and very, very serious allegations. But first, I have a very important message. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use the link in my description or scan the QR code to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for a case. You may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Okay, so you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Okay, so the laws that
see if we can get us over
$1,000, whether or not he was dealing.
If y'all need to scan that QR code, get you some money.
Financing, coordinating, or delivering goods you shouldn't have, staying at or transacting with Cuban government-owned or controlled entities. There's a list of hotels that are prohibited and where you cannot stay in Cuba. There's also other things you're not supposed to be doing while you're there. And the problem with Hasan and many live streamers is that they want to openly brag about committing crimes. In fact, Hasan Piker has encourage people to commit theft.
I'm pro stealing from big corporations. Yeah, no, I'm pro piracy all the way, like across the board. We gotta get back to cool crimes like that, like bank robberies. Chaos, full chaos. Let's go. I mean, look.
So what OFAC has done here is they've requested information, so they've sought out more information to
need a
do
U right there,
review
Mr.
of this
Esquire.
activist trip and any particular foreign influence or sanctions evasion
recast
that
it.
might have. Now, while there are no
I know you are dealing with problems yourself, so happy Men's Health Month. Thank you. I appreciate that, Shapeshifter. You're a real one. I definitely appreciate you for that.
criminal charges yet, the penalties for this can be very serious, and Hasan Piker indeed is scared.
Is not great. Okay? They're after your boy. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me. Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that.
So the potential penalties here.
I can't
stack
believe
up.
it didn't happen sooner, considering how many crimes this man has committed.
Under the Cuban Assets Controls and Regulations Act, which is enforced via the International Emergency Economic
He's a
Power
cocker.
Act, the IEEPA.
Spaniel.
So there's two sides to this, a civil side and a criminal side. On the civil side, the penalties can be up to $91,000 per violation.
Ooh.
So the issue is
How
here,
many
if you go on one of
violations?
these trips, let's say you're out there on a long trip and you're doing multiple things, especially if you're live streaming, once again being your own star witness, you might violate several of these provisions. So maybe you're bringing in or transacting with goods you're not supposed to bring in or you're not supposed to buy. Maybe you're staying at a hotel you're not supposed to stay at, or something that's linked to the Cuban government and prohibited. So you may have multiple transactions. So that 91.
And let me just be clear. If Nick Shirley, is it Nick Shirley? If Nick Shirley did any of these things, he should pay the penalty too, 100%. Am I a fan of Shirley? I like his work. I think it's led to good things. I mean, just look at what's happening in Minnesota and California. All things in due time. However, if he broke the law, he broke the law. I'm sorry.
Can stack up against you, and that is indeed the lowest level. But
I hate it for him, and I'll feel bad for him. But at the same time, I don't feel bad for him.
Or going out and saying, "Yep, I did it. Who cares? So what?" and bragging about it.
Guilty
which many of these
as
influencers
charged.
actually go out and do. You can have fines for up to $1 million on the corporate side for most individuals.
That's 1/3 of his house.
$250K on the individual side. But you can also face imprisonment for up to 10 years. So there is actual real prison time that can be behind willful violations. Now, it's very clear that this has not been pressed yet, but it's still on the table. Now, in practical cases, when we look at these things, most of these violations for first-timers or non-egregious offenses are typically civil penalties. So those typically...
You know what the great thing about Hasan live streaming a lot of the things that he does is that I'm sure someone in his chat mentioned that what he's doing is illegal, and he acknowledged it. Fuck you.
Slap them with some sort of fine. So it might be a 10, 20, 30, 40K fine. Once again, up to 91K. These things can add up. Hasan Piker's got money, but if you hit him with a couple of these, I mean, that's a dent in his Labubu budget. Now,
yeah, I mean, that's 1/3 of his house right there.
I see this happening and being a problem with Piker, whether or not he gets into any problem here, is to look at his pattern of behavior of encouraging criminality, encouraging breaking the law. It's only a matter of a time till somebody is motivated enough to get him on camera saying something and actually punish him. He's gotten away with many of his crimes because they've been local crimes. The local California PD is not that motivated. Many of them are politically aligned with Piker. So
Question in the chat. You know what's the greatest thing about Hasan? Him being arrested. Love my chat. I have the best chat in the world, I have to say.
I agree with him on other issues and therefore not want to prosecute him. So he's gotten away with a lot, but the feds are not necessarily going to fall into that camp. And they might look at this and say, no, this is an on-your-face violation here, and actually hold him to task. And I cannot wait till the day comes that Hasan Piker actually reaps some of what he's sown. Because once again, he has openly encouraged.
Yeah, I too can't wait until the day comes on your face, Hasan.
But
I'm sorry, I had to.
In the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
All right. So that's what Andrew Esquire has so far for Hasan Piker. Okay. Oh, you're just saying that. All right. So we got a little bit. What we got here? Yeah, fuck it. We got a little bit of time. Let's see what Asman has on the latest development when it comes to Helen of Troy.
It's going viral from the Helen of Troy actress. What is this here?
What this shows us is that
Lupita is upset about the misrepresentation of African culture, but has no problem blatantly doing it to Greek culture. This woman is an absolute fucking hypocrite. Has no business in the Odyssey. Okay, let me see this.
what Black Panther shows us is that there is a whole host of people who get the misrepresentation that Africa has had and who
Wakanda's not real. Like, we know this, right?
respect the continent, want to reinvestigate the continent and re-represent the continent. And that's important to me because I'm all about the demystification of the African continent.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
You know, oftentimes the African continent, when it's portrayed in cinema, it's very general, and we were all hell-bent on it not being general. So the fact that, you know, our fictitious African nation speaks the language Xhosa, we needed to learn that language, we needed to, you know, get the accent in English and everything. Though it's a fictitious nation, it is brought to life and derived from real African cultures. And so even with the costumes, Ruth Carter talks about researching the Tuareg, the Maasai, and hopefully there is a celebration as a result, a respect for these very wealthy and diverse cultures that often just get washed as one thing.
You know what's really funny is that she's right about everything that she said. The problem is that you need to have this worldview for every single movie. So she has the right outlook for Black Panther, but
100%.
not for the Odyssey. On the discourse, it's a mythological story. I'm supportive of Chris's vision with it, the version around the telling. Cass is representative of the world. I'm not spending my time thinking of a defense. The criticism will exist whether I engage with it or not. This isn't
that I look. I agree with the second half of that statement.
world story. It's not just some mythological story. It's a Greek story. It is. If you care about historical accuracy, you would not make Helen of Troy black. You wouldn't do that. Everybody knows that. We all know this. So it's very annoying for me to see this. It is. Because these people know what they're doing is wrong. They know that their outlook on this is wrong. Because whenever they're doing it to something that they care about on like a racial intrinsic level, they're going to have a totally different outlook and approach to it. This worldview and this approach to like telling a story is the best approach and the best way to tell a story. And it's what you want to have people doing. But they don't have any sort of respect for the Odyssey in the same way that they do for Black Panther. Yeah, the Odyssey going viral again. The actress is playing Helen as a Yale drama graduate and never heard of the Odyssey. What? Lupita Nyong'o reveals that she didn't know the Odyssey before the Nolan film. She has a master's in drama from Yale, but had no idea what the Odyssey was.
That's
I really had
retarded.
no idea what the Odyssey was. I was like, oh, snap. I don't know the first thing about this. So it was a crap.
Baron, did you see that video? Tectone made feminists try to survive without men and almost died. Is it recent or is it an older one? I'm going to have to check it out. I'm sure I saw it at some point. Chadwick didn't die for this. You ain't Wakanda mofos. I love my chat. But no, I agree. Chadwick Boseman was a rare talent. He was a very good actor, and he starred in a lot of really iconic movies. He played, was it Jackie Robinson? I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was a pretty decent movie. A little heavy-handed. Little on the nose with some things, but yeah, sure. He played another couple of good roles, and then he played, of course, Black Panther, T'Challa, and he was very, very good in it. He was amazing, and it's a damn shame that he's gone. I'll have to look that up on Tectone's page. I need to also catch up. He was on Side Scrollers with that gothic conservative dude, Jake Monroe, I think it is. I need to check that episode out.
Crash course.
Might
I
have been
picked
2
up the books
episodes.
and read them immediately. I have this film to thank for my Greek mythological education.
Well, I wonder how that happened. It explains a lot. It sure does. Masters being a drama queen, I guess so. Ivy League is dead. I don't know why people let this happen. It's just, it's so fucking embarrassing. It's crazy how embarrassing this is.
And this, we'll play a little bit of this.
Hi, I'm Brittany Murphy, and we're right now at the Blockbuster Video Store, which is pretty busy this time of day. at 51st and 8th Avenue. New York City, center of the universe, greatest city on earth. And I'm here to pick out some good videos, my favorite videos. I'm overworked, I'm overtired, and I can relax and watch the things that I love. So come on, we'll have fun.
Hold on, I'll see if I can find it up.
Don't tell anybody. We're okay.
She's
I'm
such a
really
goober.
okay.
Tectone.
I didn't do that. I don't know who just did that. It sure as heck wasn't me. So we found ourselves in the comedy aisle, and
Is it the one where they try male jobs?
they're all very happy. I like to rent happy
Feminist
movies.
tries male jobs and instantly regrets it. Dude, the amount of women who I see say, oh, dude, I'm oppressed because I have to take care of my loving husband and my loving children. Oh, my God, my life is so hard. These stupid-ass women need to realize there's a difference between having a hard life and having things you have to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that, I guess.
For you if your job is taking care of the best people in the world in your life, in your whole life. You get to just hang out and take care of them. Wow, man. Oh, 9 to 5 would be so much easier. Shut the hell up.
And I gotta say, I would absolutely love to be able to stay at home, hang out with the kiddos, clean the house, and maybe do some stream action in my home office. It'd be great. It'd be great. I'd probably end up doing some kind of customer service gig from home if I could, especially since COVID. But no, I would absolutely love to hang out with some Rugrats, make sure the house is clean, chase them around all day, maybe put on some educational bits, and then, work from home. It'd be great.
So let's see what happens when a feminist tries male jobs. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Be able to go to the doctor anytime I wanted.
And he has to be driving a hypercar.
And let me pause this. Homemaker is a real job. It is. It absolutely is. But people and women who act like they hate their life because they're so overworked from being a home worker, no. Ungrateful stay-at-home moms, ungrateful homemakers.
Hold on. I might be running out of time. Hold on a second. The overwork and underpaid epidemic. Where? I don't see it. Said go back up. Oh, there it is.
And destroys feminists in survival competition after saying we don't need men. Oh, yeah.
This is 30 minutes long.
What are we doing, man?
Go. Surely
Is it even worth?
soon. We have nothing to drink. We don't know where we are.
There you go.
I don't want to sound too cocky too early. No, I don't think we should. I don't think we should at all. But right now, we're winning.
We're winning.
Where's the McDonald's? Where's the Chick-fil-A? Where's Starbucks? Man, happy monkey noises, bro. I love this, bro. Because men are innate providers, and that's how God.
I gotta say, I would probably suck at this. Okay, like I don't blame people. Like I don't know if these guys are pros or if they're just enthusiasts or just guys they randomly drop, just like these feminists. Okay, I don't know anything about them, the backstory, the build-up. However, I would do okay. I would be dead weight at first, but I would do okay just because I have just mild survival training from the military, but I would not do great on this.
God intended us to be. And women were supposed to protect them because, to be honest, they can't really do much without men. So I love this type of shit. There's nothing wrong with gender roles. There's really not. Women have the children. Men protect the ones who make the children. It's really that easy. Let's stop acting.
I mean, with my luck, I'd probably forget where I pooped and step in it, and then I would probably cry too. So I feel for you there.
Like we're equal, that we can do everything the same, and realize that our importance is equal. What we provide to the extension and the lengthening of humankind is important, but men are a lot better at different things, and women are a lot better at different things. I'll be real. I think women, correct me if I'm wrong, I think women are way better than men at having kids. And men are pretty much better at everything else, but having kids is the most important thing in the world to do. So let's just acknowledge that fact, and we'll all be better off.
Julie, you just order me about all the time. I would these ladies up. Just
She goes on about those potatoes anymore. I'm gonna stab her.
You won't do it.
I feel dreadful. Honestly, I feel.
How many kids you want? 5.
I
will settle with 3.
I would be so desperate for food and water.
We don't care. The water was not an issue. And actually, dehydration was your own fault rather than lack of water.
The expedition party are dehydrated, hopelessly lost, and wandering directionless.
Damn. Yeah, bro. That'll show that tree. What the f are they intending to do?
Walking is painful now.
All night, no dry clothes and no fire, because we have to make mistakes.
I love when women start crying in horrible situations like it's gonna change anything. Oh, maybe if I'm on an island and I need food and water, maybe if I'll just start crying, the answer will just come out of my ass. It's literally like the most pathetic.
That's not the answer.
Survival
That's Mr.
instinct of all
Hanky.
time.
He might have the answer.
Cultures use to women's advantage to get them what they want. But realistically, in any other scenario, like in the real world, if you have to survive, all crying does is waste time. You need to lock the in and make it work.
It's Sharky. Wait, are you saying this is what's happening with our governments and parliaments across the Western world?
I would love to watch whatever the this is.
With my family, and I just need to be at home.
Dude, if you guys have ever watched a season of Survival, Men versus Women, it literally is the female teams suck absolute balls at everything they do, and then they cry and make a man feel better for them, and they find the simp, and then they get the simp to take care of them. That's what happens every single time, and then they usually end up on the island to keep the.
I mean, I would imagine so. I don't watch
That's
reality
usually what
shows.
happens. And what's crazy is how
But-
effective
oh, shit.
that works.
Oh.
It's true.
I gotta say, the first time you make a fire without like a match or a lighter is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've done it a couple of times. Each time, it's like I get the same look on my face as like a baby when you play peekaboo with it. It's just like ha. But anyway, on that note, guys, unfortunately I gotta go. I've run completely out of time. I got on here a little late. I apologize. But I will circle back around to this. Save. There. We'll circle back around to this at some point. Me neither. That does sound hilarious. But, love you guys so much. Shapeshifter, Yanuka had to leave a little earlier, mostly because I got on late. But I appreciate the hell out of all of you. It means the world to me that you stopped by. To everyone else watching this later, I appreciate y'all too. But we'll see y'all bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, this is Alpha Animus for the Associated Guests saying, signing